Reading and Mrs. Kump. So as a young man, I had a hard time learning, and I had a hard time focusing. There was a lot of contention in the family. My dad was very difficult to deal with, a lot of arguing going on. I think that was distracting. I remember going to school feeling frustrated about my family life. I'm only probably 8 years old at the time, too, maybe 7 or 8 years old at the time. But anyway, but that I think that caused some distractions, and then it was hard for me to learn. And then if people weren't patient with me when I learned, I really got frustrated, and I just shut down. I said, "Screw you! I'm going to go ride my bike," basically. But Mrs. Kump, I really want to talk to Mrs. Kump and tell her thank you for the time that she spent with me trying to help me learn how to read. She was a kind of a tough person, but she wanted to help me learn how to read, her and Mrs. Hunter, but primarily Mrs. Kump. So I had to go into these resource classes, and she would be there, and I would have to try to learn how to read in elementary and in junior high. And I remember that after my mission, I struggled with reading. And even during my mission, I had a lot of struggles. I had a hard time memorizing stuff. But eventually, after reading children's books and other books extremely slowly, the Book of Mormon, other novels, things like that. I rarely read. I always listen. I'm really good. I like to listen to books. But I started reading things out loud. And what happened was, as I read books out loud, or scriptures out loud, or stories out loud, I started to hear myself reading, and I got more confidence. I remember they would ask me to read out loud in high school, and I would just hit the panic. I had panic. It was so anxious. I was so anxious. It was so scary to read even just 2 or 3 sentences. It was horrible. But as I went through the process of reading out loud, it helped me to hear the language. It helped me to hear the words out loud. It helped me to slow down, to focus on them. And I think as I read out loud, I also heard myself. So I learn a lot by audio learning, by listening. It really helped me. So I really want to go to Miss Kump one of these days and say, Mrs. Kump, I'm so thankful that you tried to help me learn how to read. And now I can read quite well now. And thank you for your patience, because it did make a difference to me, and I do appreciate what you did to try to help me learn. Even though I wasn't the best student and I had a hard time, I know that you tried to help me learn how to read, and I finally know how to read. And I'm glad that you made the effort to help teach me, and I'm glad that I was able to finally start to understand how to read better. And reading is really a wonderful thing, and I'm thankful to you and others for taking the time to help me learn the importance of reading.